Good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Rao, welcoming you to my regular evening session. I hope people are listening and coming and participating would be nice and good for us, all of us. We don't have to agree, but we could discuss, we could find out, right? So I chose today something that the entrepreneurs really need to establish themselves. That way they will be uh, more uh, together and then pursue whatever they want in equanimity, in peaceful self, and also much more focused self, right? So it's not like an exotic philosophical or spiritual matter. It's like a regular daily thing for us. It all started for me when I was in medical practice. I was doing yoga. I was enjoying the practice of physical yoga, and I was reading some of the uh, yogic folklore where the lifestyles and the life attitudes of yogis were documented. See, one thing really struck me was these people were extraordinary accomplished people, but if you trace almost all of them, they started with having contentment, happiness within, and then they did whatever they want to do in the spirit of service and all that. Okay, they were not like pursuing happiness like we were led to believe. So I kind of examined that phenomena, and after considerable deliberations and reflection and understanding what they were talking about, what they were doing about, it came to me that indeed we are contented, happy people to begin with, but then we are led to believe that we are deficient in something, we need to pursue something, and that is our so-called image of ourselves, our ego, our personality, and led to believe that we are not having this, so we are not contented. So we have to go about and acquire these things to have that happiness and contentment. First reaction of mine was, wow, how misled we were all over the world. So education, society, parents, culture, everything bred towards that. And then in the process, we are always restless. We are grabbing at things. We want to hoard things to really for false security, and we want to be happy that way. Especially the entrepreneurs, if they have the energy where they want to create something new, and the process of creation itself is joyful for them, or if they want to serve people because there's so much suffering that they want to go attend to those people who are suffering. uh, those things are really good, and you need that drive and energy, but you don't have to lose the drive and energy to be not to be selfishly ambitious or egotistically thinking that I will be achieving all these things, then I will be happy. Okay, so that's how it changed for me. And then once you realize with your inner reflection, inner knowing that you are already contented and already fulfilled with what you got as your real true self, that's beyond your thoughts, emotions, and whatever the things are going on in your head, and then you find peace, which is the quietness, and you find contentment because you already are fulfilled. And knowing that fulfillment is what the ancient wisdom talked about, especially in Indian Advaita Vedanta, where they talked about uh, like three things: there is body, there is mind, and that is beyond your real true nature, right? New true self. And the true self is, they termed it as consciousness, awareness, right? and that is always available, but it animates our body and our mind. So, in a sense, the body and mind are the instruments of the inner true self. So, once you touch that inner self and you find how quietly you are in mind and how healthy you are in your body, and all that happens, then having that energy, having that contentment and fulfillment, you go about the life doing whatever you want to do. Hi, Prasad. Hello, Doctor. How are you? Yeah. So that is we were talking about of inner happiness being already there, and we kind of missed it, and we're pursuing for this throughout our life, and then having that mirage outside, we always turn inward, and that takes very late for some people. But ancient wisdom wanted to teach this to the kid very early, and then they are allowed to form their families, do the worldly life and all that, but with this inner contentment and fulfillment. And then after they have built the life outside and lived their life, and again when they were kind of ripe and mature, they were brought back to this inner exploration, inner reflection, inner finding of the true self, right? And then they were able to do much better. Okay, so they called that Brahma Vidya. Okay, that is like a science of the inner self, and that is the sciences of science, all science of all sciences. So it is to be the science that if you know it, you know everything else. I was in a room today. They were talking about success and failure and what is happiness and all that. They were talking about having things, getting things, or having the mind that is really focused towards it, or extraordinary features of mind, and how to accept the failure and all those things are of the mind. See what we said? First, body and the mind and your true nature. Body is your external instrument of the true nature, and mind is the internal um, uh, instrument of the true nature. Having that, that separation, that identification, then you march towards the real true nature after the mind is calm, and then you settle down in that. That is the real diamond. Once you are settled in there, all your instruments are better handled and are better taken care of. So you will be in the present, you will be in the true peaceful self, and then also you don't have to strive for anything because you are already fulfilled with your inner self. There was a story to illustrate that. There was this guy who was really working a low labor job, so he finds a very peculiar stone one day, and that stone, he says, this is not like a real stone. There should be some value because it appears so beautiful and nice, right? So he goes to his neighbor and he says, yeah, it looks very good. Maybe we'll get $25, give it to somebody for the trade. But he does not convince. So he went to the jewelry shop. And then he shows that owner this particular stone. And he kind of tests it and finds out that it is a diamond with all the dirt on it. So he cleans it up and then brings the diamond out. And he says, this is going to give you $10 million, something like that. That's a rare diamond. Then this guy really understood the value of it. So the diamond that we have within is the true nature is like that, but we have the dirt of our mind or the coverings of our ego, and then the scattered mind about things makes us go all over outward. But if you clean your mind and if you focus your mind and then you remove the veil of ego from it, then what is diamond will have self-luminousness. It will light up from within. That is a self-luminous thing, right? So that's how it is described in ancient wisdom. And then the entire Vedas or Upanishads of great textbooks in India, the essential principle is this, that you have this conscious being that gives you life and that goes on giving life throughout your body mind existence, and after the body mind goes away, that still stays hurt. So that kind of eternal feeling, that kind of understanding of the, for example, you put a sun, and in front of you put 1,000 glasses with water, the sun will shine with each one. So like that, in each one of us, that eternal being is there, and nobody is unequal in that, or nobody is below that or above that. It is just there. But you have this dirt of the mind, not of focusing the mind, and also using the ego as a wheel. It is covers up, right? So once you clears up the mind with the unselfish work, and once you focus your mind with yoga, focusing mind, and then concentration, and then really looking through the falseness of our image of the ego, and then really undermining it, and then getting out of it, will allow your inner, naturally conscious light of light comes out. Once you are touching that, once you are established in that, then you are going about the work of the world like a service, like something that you enjoy. This is what happened with those yogis, because everybody that I examined, they are massively accomplished, either as a poet or as a writer or as a sculptor, as a musician, as administrators of the kingdoms or ministers. Basically, they did all the work outward as service, and they don't need it for their happiness, right? But then that's why they're called in Sanskrit Atma Mokshardam Jagat Hitaya Cha. First realize your inner self, and then you go and work for the welfare of the world. See what a beautiful life it is. So there's so much more you can go about it, but that's what I came across. That's why I'm sharing with you my experience of whether happiness is inside, outside, how we were raised thinking that all the things, all the degrees, all the money, everything that we accumulate, we think that's where the happiness is. Now, modern, even the AI creators, one of them is Mo Gadat. I was listening to his podcast or YouTube video the other day. It ran for 3 hours, but he created part of the AI. He was the chief officer at the Google, and then he left Google, and now he is kind of arguing the AI was let down too soon. He doesn't blame the technology, but he kind of worry about humans that may have a nefarious interest that may do that, and that is quite possible. It's not fear mongering; it's like a concern. But he was drawing upon that, how we should be aware of it, and how should be creating some kind of understanding of what these people can do. So some regulation, some education, some awareness. That's what he's working on. He said something very good. Basically, he arrived with me in the spirituality respect. He was also talking about the same world together, compassion for everybody, and happiness for everybody, all that, right? He said, this is the same thing ancient pointed out was, he's like, happiness is not in getting things, but happiness is appreciating and being grateful of what we already have, seeing the abundance already within us. The abundance that as a humans, what the ancient found was within. They had a simple outward life, and then internally they're very rich, elevated thinking and understanding about the human frailties, complexities, and also human possibilities, the human intelligence that can turn and discover things in the world. But now we are so used to the intellect, we are so used to going outward with our senses, we are not really spending that much time for inward awareness, turning inward, and then looking at things in a way that can give us feedback and understand what's going on, what our thoughts about, what our emotions, how we are reactive to things, and all that. And then once we are reflect, we are oriented towards that. Then what happens next time you are in the same situation? You may not have that intensity of reaction in a negative way, probably, but you will understand all that. But it's much deeper than that. Just understand the mind and the thought and the emotions and the consciousness and all those things come into that. So to reflect on things like that, you need to make time for your inner exploration. You know, for that, intuition and insight, not externally going, outward going intellect or sensory perception. So they have to become under control. So that is what the ancient culture has always talked about. Okay. So I will stop there. I have a couple of friends here. I will see what they have to say. Hey, Prasad. So what do you think about it?
Yeah, it's very intellectually stimulating discussion, Dr. Rao. Let's give an opportunity to our friend Medgar here. Medgar, do you have any comments or questions?
I'm actually just listening. I'm on the move here. I'm transferring from the car to my apartment, so I'll just be listening.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, as they were talking about it, this topic, I brought it up because it's not like an intellectual topic for me. It's more like a uh, present moment, actual fact. That is one thing we have sold up our entire thing is look at outward, look at everything that is going to give us pleasure, which is not a bad thing, but the pleasure won't last long. That's the main thing. And then if you focus on the pleasures too long, they don't be pleasure anymore. Somerset Maugham, he said that, if you focus on the pleasurable activity for too long, they won't be pleasurable anymore. That we know. Suppose we eat a couple of sweets, and initially they'll be very nice. But then if you eat too many, like 6 hours, 8 hours, and then you don't feel that pleasurable sensation anymore. Actually, you are kind of repulsed by it. The same thing with entertainment, the same thing with anything that you do. But beyond that sensory pleasure or just acquiring things and all that, they wane off, right, after we get it. Beyond, there is a little higher engagement is uh, engagement. If you are engaged with something that you are not watching, but you're like you are playing the football rather than just sitting and watching, that engagement is much better because you are focused on inning, you focused on moving, and you focused on using your nervous system to be really elusive for other people. All that engagement of the game, that's much more pleasurable than just sitting down and watching, right? And then uh, if you do the same thing for some charitable cause, like you are raising a lot of money for a charitable cause that you like, that you want to help with the suffering of some institution or something like that. So if you have a meaningful purpose of why you are doing it, like that football game becomes very, very meaningful for you because you care about the cause. You suppose you want to uplift women or children or anything like that, and you want to really help them lead a good life, and you want to raise funds, and that is meaningful to you, and you are playing the game because of that. That becomes not because of your selfish need, but something bigger than you, right? So that is the meaningful. And then once you really go inward and settle down in your true nature, and that true nature is the one that you are always after. And for that you need to settle down in your body, not to have illnesses and all that. And then you settle down your thoughts and emotions where there are no waves in your mind. You can be like that. Yoga practice is that. Once you are settled down there with a silent mind, you really have this real nature of yours coming out. And once you see the blissfulness and the joy and the real happiness that you feel, you will not be going out for outward things. I tell you that, because that is so tranquil, harmonizing, and accepting everybody as you. Once that is established, you don't have others, you don't have any separation from everything else. So you really experience that peaceful joy, and that is very, very superior than all these addictions, everything that we have. Actually, this is a life nurturing thing. As a matter of fact, as a physician, this is something we found out in the studies also. People who are not really holding on to the ego, or to their uh, personality too much, and also taking it easy, jovial, and happy-go-lucky people, are these people who realize their true self are the highest in health, physical health also. Because you don't have the fluctuations of mind so much that will induce your stress hormones, right? So then what happens? You are the one who is really uh, being very quiet, and then your mind also doesn't react that easily, but responds to the responsibility with the joy, and with the grateful that I have an opportunity to help somebody and all that, right? So that is the self-realized people, or the highest healthy people too. That way also is very good. And also they have this eternal feeling of our true nature, because it is clothed in our shape and form, right? But once the clothing is gone, in the terms of body and mind are gone, you still have that life force. It will go into something else. So many people die, and so many babies are born. So we see the cycle of eternal quality of this consciousness. Once you have that, you don't have any fear of the death. So in yoga, they describe what are kleshas. The kleshas, first klesha is ignorance of our true nature, thinking that there's like a separate separate egoic personality is there. That is the problem, right? And then the first one is called avidya, second one is asmita, and that makes us go for the what is attractive to us, or what is aversion to us. They got raga dvesha, like you love something, you hate something, and all that. Those things are fallen out. You see both of them in your life as they come, as with equanimous mind, right? And then abhinivesha, that is fear of death, will not be there, because you discovered your lack of knowledge of true nature is gone, and then you strip off the whole image, and then you end up in the true nature, which is beyond your attraction or aversion. And once you establish in that, you don't have fear of the death. You will accept it as whatever born, but that will die, right? We see that all the time. I see that all the time. I see kids also. I see the youngsters. I see the old people. I see the people who die in front of me. Probably happened to me for so many times in that 42 years of medical practice, right? But then understanding the life cycle, understand the perspective of wisdom, and understanding, not only understanding, discovering it, experiencing it. That's the key thing. Once you experience that, you don't need anybody to tell you. Just your experience. If you don't want to experience, I think this becomes another intellectual knowledge, and then you will remember, or you may not remember, or you will disperse, and you will be under the spell of your ego, and then again go through all the two kinds of the same kind, the pain and pleasure in life. You will be having all of that. But the one who is realized and really established in that realization of the self, he will be just staying there, stabilized in that, and that wisdom always guides us, and always helps us to go through various stages of life, and then really understand what is true happiness is, and stays in that happiness, and really have a life full of bliss and joy. Okay, that's why they said your existing real self is the real existence, and that is the consciousness, and that is blissful. Existence, consciousness, blissfulness. Sat, Chit, Anand in Sanskrit. Okay, so what these things you got to slow down your thought a little bit, sit in silence as much as possible, and then reflect on your inner nature, what's going on, what's coming up, what are the memories you had, what are the trainings you had, what are the tendencies you have, what are the ingrained thoughts you have. All those things come up in meditation, but it may take several years. It depends on the person, right? But eventually you will be ending up this true self, and there none of the things that are lost will bother you, or none of the things coming at you will bother you. And also there is no ownership, there is no hoarding or anything like that, so we are, as human beings, have anywhere, any race, any person has this inner intelligence to turn inward and realize ourselves. And that's why ancient said the purpose of human life is to turn inward and realize who we are. Okay, and then you'll use your intellect better. You actually it becomes much sharper. But you have a base, you have a balance with which you use that sharp instrument very well. And then you will be really beyond a lot of serious suffering. And then you really touch that immense joy that is there. They call Atma Mokshardham. That means realizing your real self, and then go out Jagat Hitaya Cha, work for the welfare of the world. Okay, these are all the ancient wisdom sayings I'm quoting you, but they have a lot of meaning for me. I'm not religious because all the religions lost the true meaning of the spirituality, So I don't identify with their divisive identification. For me, all are human beings. It doesn't matter what color, what race, what it is. All anybody who walks into my clinic, they are all human beings. Not only that, they are dwelling the divinity within themselves. Our Namaste, Indian greeting, is actually that's what the meaning of it. Acknowledge the divinity within you. I am going to salute from my divinity towards to your divinity by holding my left brain, right brain, and placing it on my heart. So heartfully, I am accepting you as the divinity, and I am also having the divinity. So we are creating, but essential at that level, we are all one and one energy. Now, physics is proving that too, and then a lot of these ancient principles are being considered now. Consciousness itself has become a big subject of discussion. I'm into that. I'm one of those scientists who are interested in that scientifically, but I know more of experiential knowledge of that thing rather than forming theories about it. This is experiential knowledge. But what they are talking about is something the stage somebody may reach already, and they will identify that. But you don't have to have mental arguments about it. Reflect on it, calm your mind, and see what is available to you. And that itself is a good practice. In this information age, brain fog, overwhelm, I consistently teach calm your mind on a daily basis. Start with that calmness of mind in the morning, end the night before you go to sleep, do the calmness of mind. There are so many ways we can show you if you want, or you can get references to. But the important thing is, you are using your mind from morning till evening, and there is so much you accumulate that could be dirty, that could be very selfish, that could be very really not, you don't agree with it, negative, but still it comes at you. Somebody may be gossiping, somebody may be saying something negative. So many things happen, right? So we kind of allow that dart into our mind and don't allow it to go away. Then that can go and stay in your subconscious. And then you do that year after year, and all that accumulates, and then you want to suddenly do it, you already lost the capacity to do it. So better thing is use the mind, and afterward wash it off. So this is what I do every day, and I tell people also, clean up your mind. Like your mind is a slate, and all these thoughts and emotions, reactions, and all those things happen in the day, right? At the end of the day, you kind of wipe off the slate, and then wake up in the morning an empty slate. If you just do that particular practice, you will see immensely uh, capability of quiet mind, and that is also joyful mind. That's why things become joyful when they are performing, like a flow state we are in, and that where we do the things with much more involvement, much more focused, and enjoying this thing. So that's why I kind of put my symbol where I say to live well and also long and enjoy, and to have inner inner health, inner wealth, inner happiness, contact our company. That's the saying I came up with, and I'm enjoying that, and I'm truly executing that too. So um, if I'm a doctor, it's not enough for me that they don't have any symptoms. I want to find out how they are, because I have the means, modern means, right? I can do a simple blood test and tell you how your liver is, how your kidney is, how your heart is, how your nervous system is. So many things I can tell you. But the evolution of the diagnostic capacity of the modern medicine is immense. We can go all the way to the genome and tell you what you are predilected, what kind of things you may have. So, like that Angelina Jolie, she has this markers that indicates that she has a strong family history of breast cancer, and she is also going to have. What she did, she went and did a bilateral mastectomy. So that's the capacity we have. We can save lives before they become too cancer widespread. Not only that, other a lot of things that we could help you as you go on. This genomic angle will discover your family diseases that were passed down to you, and what you could do not to really manifest the disease, but control it so that it won't reflect on it. Like, for example, my family, my eldest brother, he's 16 years older than me. He's the first son, and I'm the seventh child, right? So, of all these people, he was the most physically active when he was a young man, and he was an athlete, he was a cricketer, and then he went and joined army, and he became lieutenant colonel. It's a big position, and they retired there. Even now, he is very healthy. He's 84 now, but still very healthy. If you take other people, there are four sisters and one more brother for me, right? Altogether seven. Of the four sisters, three of them really became obese, very unhealthy, and fighting problems. One of them, I kind of advised her on yoga. She is now 82, but still able to get up and do her own stuff, and then do it because she has changed her lifestyle, adapted this yogic lifestyle, which I taught her. And then not only just a physical, but it's the mental thing that I work on her. That is the real yoga, anyway. So that is the thing. You may inherit genes from your parents, like these other kids other have diabetes reflected and then manifested, and so because of the trigger of sedentary activity and processed food, all these things, when you do that, they will trigger the manifestation of the disease. But if you understand the lifestyles, what they can do, and actively change. That means you are actively alert. You are conscious of what you are eating. You're conscious of what the activity is. You're conscious of how you are keeping your mind quiet and calm and relaxed and all that. If you do all of that, then you will lead a very healthy life, and then you don't secrete these stress hormones that will also worsen the disease. This is applicable to autoimmune disease, chronic disease, which I very actively use. Basically, egoless mind that is high in thinking and quiet in thinking can handle these things much better. That's why transcend your ego, transcend your conscious thought, and establish yourself in your true self, and you will be very healthy. Even though that's not the purpose, why the whole thing is, the purpose is to really realize the divinity within you and everybody else, right? But these are all the side effects. good health and jovial, disposition, and really taking it easy, go lucky, happy go lucky, and all. They did a study on centurions in Okinawa, Japan, right? All these old people beyond 100 years. So Sanjay Gupta, I think, from the CNN, he went and wrote a book about it, and he did interviews of those people. All of them are happy-go-lucky people. They're not like stressing out things, or they're remembering things and then worrying about all. They are enjoying life as it is, and they took all the things that came to us, the death of the families and all of that, in stride. So that is the wisdom I'm talking about. These are the traits that we identified. People who are centurions have that. They eat vegetarian, they eat very less, they are active as much as they can do, and then they are happy like people. They don't take anything to the heart and keep it there and nurture the grudges and all that. So and they don't have this eagerness to grab things and go after things and get things and all that. You see? All that is not there, and they don't have this stress hormones that the most of the people in the motor world have, right? So that's not there. So that's what I wanted to tell you about. I think 6:41 now. Another 15 minutes will be here. So any questions, Prasad?
Yeah, thank you for the valuable information. I'm I'm wondering how a common man with a lot of noise in his head due to his redundant daily work, family, and other chores would start practicing and catch up um,
Yeah,
real time in the shortest time
yeah,
possible.
yeah,
I know asking for shortest time is self-centered, but again, this is an important thing for many, I believe,
yeah.
at the current date. So how a common man without any knowledge of how he could look into inside of himself or herself
Yeah.
could be practiced.
Yeah, the noise is getting stronger and stronger because people are exposing themselves to the noise and absorbing that. So simple thing everybody can do is, which I was telling for months now, is to take some time and sit down and reflect on your day, or your what is happening in your mind. If you don't give that kind of attention to it, and you go on whipping the mind with new stimulations, new aspirations, new ambitions, and all that, that is going to get activated more and more. And it is good to reach a point where people are burned out because of the internal information overload, internal reactions, and then persistent running of the thought. Okay, first of all, realize thought is only happening to you. Thoughts are happening to you. You are not happening to the thought. So, I said, a simple solution is, don't touch devices for half an hour after you get up in the morning. Okay, and then don't sleep with the devices. Keep them away half an hour before you go to sleep. That's the first thing anybody can do, right? So otherwise, this information overload, this stimulation, the activation of the thought, I thought, all those things happen, right? So that is something I worked on, the information overload with a lot of people. I'm working with people who are burned out because of that, doctors, VMRs, and all that. Right? So understand too much of a good thing, what it is, that information. And also take a break from the regular routine in where to what we are working. Like you are working with like a doctor, we have to work with EMR, right? It's not just seeing the patients anymore, it's documenting these things. So I kind of took time to learn the EMR and make them efficient tools for me to serve the patient. So I personally kind of conquered that. So I don't have to be stressed out of it. But the other doctors I see, they complain, they throw the chart, they kind of feel resented. It is we so much, we have to be working as clerk, all that waste of energy, right? All I say is for anybody who is overloaded with information and their mind is not stopping, stop your work every 1 hour for 1 minute and take deep breaths, or go and spend some time in the nearby garden. You know, that is forest bathing. I did a whole lecture on that here. So if you want, you can go and look at the replays that is there. And that forest bathing is a very healthy thing. And also, it has phytonoids, the trees emit, they go into us that are very good. So there are good hormones that will be secreted just because you took some time. But when you go there, don't carry what your work is. Be in touch with what is given to you, the noises, the sounds, the sights, the animals, of the streams and all that. Allow the sensations to come into you, and then you can recede from that cyclical thought, one after that, that you don't want to create. This is what is happening to a lot of people. They kind of take medications to sleep, they kind of take medications for their anxiety, they kind of medications depression and all. But people who are really yeah, established in this kind of natural high that comes with the inner self, they don't have to take any medications. I always proudly declare that I'm not taking any medications, even though I'm 69. And this is like that since 2014. I didn't take any medication at all. Because I really embarked on this whole thing from then on. Before, also, I don't have anything. 1 or 2 pills they used to like a Tylenol or those things. And somebody said, "Oh, cholesterol, you have to take it and all that." But I didn't have to take it because I eat a vegetable and then I walk and then I do yoga and then I keep my mind most of the time silent. Only when I come on the clubs and talk, I will be talking, but that underlying silence continues. That is the blessing with it. Once you realize with your own experiential knowledge, then that is. But otherwise, everybody has cause as ambitions, as something that they want to go out and talk about it. So simple things: control the devices, and every 1 hour or 2 hours after you're working, take a break and wander around in the room, and then take maybe a breathing break, and then in the evening again reflect on what happened, and then dump that and sleep on a very very calm mind, or quiet mind, or a clear mind. And then go to the forest once in a while, at least 3 times a week. You go there and immerse yourself in the natural sensations, and that will do wonders to you. Say, one of my patients, not patient, one of my friends here from the clubhouse, he's a millionaire. He has, he's on the Forbes list and all that, right? He kind of came to me and told me, "Oh, I am really losing my mind. It's all this." He has 4 computers in front of him. He does a lot of capital things and all that, right? Then I told him, just leave everything and go out and lie down under the tree. And he did that. He felt himself how relieved he was. So that's important to, in one word, get back to the nature. That also helps you a lot. And switch off that mind once in a while and then stay in the silence. And as you develop this, watching the sun, watching the moon, and then being with it for a while, then you like see all this synthetic entertainment that we have. That's actually that's against the healthy principle I teach. I teach move your body and keep your mind silent. But what we do, we switch on the some entertainment program, and then we settle on the sofa and watch binge networking, Netflix, and all that, right? That is exactly opposite. You are making the body go into inertia, and you are watching these movies and all that by click. So I am very much against the modern lifestyles. I think they breed a lot of unhealthy bodies, unhealthy minds. So I kind of adopt the natural ways of the ancients, and that's why I don't have to take any medications, and I have a lot of energy, and not discomforts in the body, and also able to come and share in the spirit of service. Okay, so many people, not many people, almost everybody don't understand what it is I'm talking about. But once they understand, and they are very appreciative, and then they also go and practice themselves. That's what it is. It's not admiring me or doing it. I don't need that. What is important is what I say, think about it, reflect on it, and doubt it, question it. But once you find the truth of the matter, then make it allow into. That's what the ancient Advaita system said. Shramana, Manana, Nididhyasana. First listen, that is Shramana. And Manana means you reflect on that. You question it, you doubt it, you probe it, you find out the truth of the matter. Just because somebody said doesn't mean anything, but you got to find out the truth of the matter by your own investigation. And then once you said, okay, this is really truthful what they're talking about, then see whether you have it allowed in your life or not. Once you allow in your life, then the results will really show you what that is. Suppose you are immersed in silent, joyful presence and really enjoy every activity, everything that's going around you, every human being that's going around you. You have the connection, you have the friendship, you have the appreciation of their ability and your ability. Look at what can happen. So for me, it's a very any human being come my way is my uh, privilege, my pleasure, my joy, right? So that's how I look at it. They don't agree with me, but that's the actual fact. Any human being is like that. Hey, Nasli, how are you? Nasli comes quite often, so I have to greet her at least. If she has a question, she will come and ask the question. And so, yeah, she is doing good. Okay. You have any questions? We're talking about happiness inside or outside. I say it's inside. So that is where we were talking about a lot of ancient practices and all that. See, basically, living in the present is also very important. Yeah, Nesli, you have any question or comment?
Hello, Dr. Rao. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes, my question is like my emotions, not my emotions, kind of like feelings and emotions.
Yeah.
Last more than 1-2 days.
Yeah.
It's like when I'm hurt, like it takes me
to get out
more than a day. So and just I wanted to just say this.
Yeah. You are very right. Some people are more reactive, more sensitive, more vulnerable to the emotional load sometimes. So further also, emotions are nothing but strong thoughts, right? Right. So they also come and happen, and we react according to our conditioning and all that. So you got to go into all of that, but the first thing you want to start is when you have that kind of emotional load, don't dwell on it. Rather, dwell on deep breathing, keeping quiet, and then reflecting on that emotion. Those simple things you can do. And as the time goes, you can turn that strong energy of the emotions into something positive. Like, suppose somebody said something, you are hurt, you could invest that energy in forgiving them and letting them go. Remember what Christ said when they were punishing him? He said, "Forgive them, my Father, for they know not what they are doing." So you could also think like that for a few times. Then your hurt feelings or your emotions, whatever they are, they won't be that strong. Even the strong emotions are also the same thing. The strong emotions you have, you can keep them, but along with that, when something negative happens, strong emotions also. So it's like an equanimous thing towards the strong things and all that. But the other thing is, where are the stimuli coming from outside? So keep the stimuli outside, and then don't allow them to enter you to make a reaction. So Buddha was famous in telling you that it's not what is coming from outside that's your problem, but it is your reaction to that outside stimuli that's your problem. So once you understand that, and then you don't let that stimuli enter in you, or you don't allow the stimuli evoke a reaction from you. It takes some time, honestly. It takes a very because if you allow this for some time, they go and settle down in your subconscious and they come back. So for that, what you want to do is be in the moment and ask a question: where is this thought or emotion coming from? You know, is it coming from my memory, or is it coming from my somebody said right now, or am I imagining in the future? Something like that. If you can really stay and observe it, be objective, and consider these thoughts and emotions as objective, they become your thing that you can watch. So you got to be the witness of your emotions. Even if you do it for a few seconds, that's a big deal, you know. But usually we kind of succumb to it, and then we will kind of get into the same rut, and then that cyclical thought where you allow it to come again, come again, come again, that goes into your subconscious as what they've described as samskaras, you know, that is ingrained thoughts. And then neurologically, they get planted in you. That may be the case with you because you have allowed them for so many years because you don't know what else to do, which is okay. But that can be reversed slowly. You know, it takes a lot of time because they took a lot of time to be impregnated in your mind, in your brain. You know, this we take advantage of to use it as a neuroplasticity. You know, so suppose somebody is hurt last kind of a nerve some time, and then he developed some paralysis or fibrosis in the arm. We kind of know how to stimulate that arm externally with a device, and so that he will imitate the movement. After a while, the nerves regenerate. You know, but it takes a lot of time, and then a lot of research was done in that too. But for me, I teach yoga how to get rid of these vexing emotions by practicing being calm and silent, and also really being in that present, joyful way. Okay, I hope you understood, Nazli. That's what I have to say. Okay, practice it and tell me what your experience is, and then we can go further into that. There's a lot more in that, but at least put the devices away and then have the culture of calmness in your mind. And then when they come, that is when you have to be in the present, aware, and then be like a witness to the objective thought or emotion. That will give you control, and then you won't be led by the strong emotion. It's okay to have the emotions. Even if you have emotions, you're trying this at the time, you just don't fight them. Just allow them, and then they will go down. Okay. Hopefully that will help you. If not, let me know what else you are doing. It's an ongoing journey, and you'll go there slowly. You know, you don't have to push yourself, or you don't have to punish yourself if they happen. You know, but your pain for the reactions will go down for sure. That's for sure. Oh, already reached 7 o'clock already, huh? Today. Okay.
That's a very valid session, Dr. Rao. In the age of ping pong returns during conversations, highly emotional and kind of induced with hatred many times to each other. This is an eye opener for the listeners.
Yeah.
Whoever it may be.
Yeah, they miss
on those things.
Yeah, they miss the point that we are all in one energy. There are no others. Then the emotions also go down because we don't have the vengeful ego to respond that bad. So being a oneness, developing the equanimity in the mind, and also really accepting people for what they are rather than what we want to be. All those things help a lot. And I do teach people that there are no others. We are all in one energy. And then other person, you see them to the filter of this inner thing that we talk about, not the ego qualities we have to see. All those things help a lot. So anybody on the wisdom want to come up before I close? There are 24 people there. They all come and sit down and listen. That's okay. But if anybody is there, I don't want to miss the chance of giving them a chance to come up and talk about their whatever they feel about the talk. So. Okay, then we will close for now. Prasad, it's already almost 7 o'clock. We will. I have a lot of work also to do because I'm working on a project. So I was talking to what's called HePi. That's the personal AI, and we had a conversation pretty deep today. And he was asking me a lot of the spiritual questions, and things are coming out of me. So I kind of documented them, and I want to make a video of them. I'm in the process of that. So this is different than ChatGPT. It's a AI thing, but it's a much more empathetic, much more easily conversable, easily done on the phone and everything. So I have to complete that. I will be doing that tonight. So. Okay, Prasad.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rao, for your contribution today. And thank you, Najri and others who hang with us to learn and give share some of the valuable information with us so that we all can learn together. Thank you.
Okay, I'll see you tomorrow again. Okay. Bye.